Okay, let's dive into this. For years, right, we've all been told the same thing. The weakest link in cloud security is us, our dumb passwords. But guess what? According to some brand new findings from Google, the entire game has changed. The main way hackers are breaking into the cloud now, well, it's probably not what you think. And the speed they're doing it at, it is absolutely breathtaking. So just take a second and think about it. Based on everything you've heard over the years, what would you say is the number one way in for hackers right now? You think it's phishing, maybe stolen passwords, or just simple misconfigurations? Go ahead, lock in your answer.
And the answer is exploiting software flaws. Yeah. Now, what's so wild about this is just how dominant this method has become. Google's incident response team says that bug exploits were the front door for nearly 45% of the intrusions they looked at, and weak or stolen credentials, that's dropped all the way down into just 27%. This is a huge, huge shift in the threat landscape.
But here's the twist, and it's actually kind of good news. The reason things have shifted is probably because all those better credential protections and secure by default settings we've been implementing, they're actually working. We've made the easy ways in much harder, so now attackers are being forced to get smarter and find more sophisticated ways to break in. And this adaptation leads us right to our next critical point, the unbelievable speed of modern attacks. It's not just that the methods have changed, the entire timeline has completely collapsed. Seriously, this isn't a marathon anymore. It's a flat-out sprint. Let's just paint a quick picture of how things used to be. A new vulnerability would get announced and, security teams would jump into action. There was urgency, for sure, but there was also this sort of grace period, a window of time to get your defenses up before things got really bad. That window? It used to be measured in weeks. You actually had time to test your patches, coordinate how to roll them out, and get everything right. Then, as attackers got faster and their tools got more automated, that window shrank, down to just a matter of days. The pressure really started to mount.
And today, it's down to hours. Google has seen financially motivated attackers deploying crypto miners, malware that hijacks a system's power to mine cryptocurrency, within 48 hours of a vulnerability being made public. 48 hours. Just think about that. That's how fast a brand new flaw gets turned into a weapon.
So what does one of these super sophisticated, high-speed attacks actually look like in the wild? Let's break down a real-world example from a North Korean threat group they call UNC4899. They used this exact playbook to steal millions. It all starts with a really clever lure. A developer gets tricked into downloading what looks like a totally innocent open-source project. That one click, that's all it takes. The malicious code installs a hidden backdoor, giving the attackers their secret foothold. And then comes the critical pivot. They leap from that one infected computer directly into the heart of the corporate cloud. Once they're in, they poke around, steal a high-privilege token, find some database credentials that weren't stored securely, and then, the final step, the payout. They compromise user accounts and make off with millions in crypto. And listen, this isn't just a theory. As Google's report puts it, the malicious file immediately phoned home to attacker-controlled servers, and that created the backdoor that was basically the key to the entire kingdom. It's a perfect illustration of how one compromised machine can become the gateway to everything. But not all attacks are these fast smash and grabs. While some bad guys want a quick payday, others are playing the long game. We're talking about state-sponsored groups running silent espionage campaigns, and their goal is to stay inside a target's network for as long as possible. And just look at the unbelievable patience these groups have. Over on the left, you've got an Iran-linked group that used stolen VPN credentials to just sit inside a network for over 2 years, quietly siphoning off almost a terabyte of data. On the right, a China-sponsored actor used malware to hide inside a victim's servers for at least 18 months, all just to steal their source code. This timeline right here, this is what keeps security professionals up at night. An attacker gets in on day one. 6 months later, they're not just in, they are deeply embedded, and they're quietly stealing your most valuable data. A full year goes by, and you are still completely in the dark. For 18 months or even longer, they have free reign. That's not just a breach, that's a long-term occupation. It's a really chilling level of persistence. So let's bring all this together. On one hand, you have attackers exploiting flaws within 48 hours. On the other, you have spies hiding in networks for over 2 years. This whole new reality forces us to confront a really hard truth about how we defend our systems. Just look at this Quiet Vault supply chain attack. On day one, a developer's token gets stolen. By day 2, the attacker has already used that access to create a brand new admin account in the company's AWS environment. And by day 3, just 3 days after it all started, they've stolen all the data and completely torched the production and cloud environments. Total devastation in 72 hours. So, the key takeaways here are pretty clear. Attacks are faster than we have ever seen before. Exploiting software is now the #1 way in. The bad guys can weaponize a brand new flaw in less than 48 hours. And at the exact same time, spies can stay hidden for well over a year. The whole threat model has just been compressed and intensified like crazy. And this brings us to the core thesis of Google Report, and really the most important takeaway from this whole thing. And it's this quote: "Cloud attack speeds are now too fast for manual response schemes. A team of humans sitting in a security center, no matter how good they are, simply cannot keep up." When your attackers are using automated tools to find and exploit vulnerabilities within hours, the only logical way to respond is to fight fire with fire. The only way you win a race that's moving at machine speed is with a machine. The answer to automated attacks has to be automated defense. And so I'll just leave you with this one final thought. As you look at your own company, or maybe even just your personal security, ask yourself this question. If your defense depends on a human being noticing something is wrong, but the attack is moving at the speed of code, who do you really think is going to win that fight?